Okay, and we're back for part 2 of the Museum of Juggling History video tour. We're going to start with the Juggling Jewels. These were 5 British women who began performing in around 1918 and performed for almost 40 years, or maybe around 42 years, I think, maybe. And so you see some of their tennis rackets and large rings and a club there. And this green box was their trunk that they toured with all their props in. And then we've got a club and 2 hats here from the Elgins, a very famous American 5-person act in the 40s and 50s. And then we've got 2 rings and a club from the Juggling Gems, the 2 sisters Francine and Rita Rose. And then we've got this horn and rings from Edith Sandor. I'm going to be doing an article about that sometime, and I actually perform with a different set of props that perform the same trick that she used that for in my juggling history show, if you're going to see that sometime. And I've got 2 sticks from Barnaby. He used those to transfer a ball from the stick on the chin to the one on the forehead. And we have 3 wooden plates from Nick Gatto, Anthony Gatto's stepfather. Those plates were made by Harry Lynn. They're wooden plates. And we've got some great clubs down here. We've got on the left a Van Wyck club that was used by the very famous Australian comedy juggler Stan Kavanagh, who was a big vaudeville star. And then we've got 3 big clubs from Joe Cook, who was a really big vaudeville star and eventually became a radio and movie star. But those 3 big ones there are made by Harry Lind. They're all hollow basket clubs, and they're amazing props, really amazing props. And then we've got the 3 clubs there in a row on the left were originally Bobby May's clubs, and eventually he gave them to Ken Sherburne. They are Harry Lynn, Bobby May model, obviously, clubs. And then the mouse sticks and pedestals and everything next to those and the ball were Adrian Sullivan, who was a great ball spinner and a friend of Francis and Lottie Brunn. And then the mirrored 5-sided clubs here. We've got 3 of them, you can see. Those are used by George Moore, who's a very interesting vaudeville era juggler. Juggled some really odd stuff. And then we've got a club from one of the very top jugglers today, Paul Ponce. And then a club from his father, Victor Ponce. And then a club from Stu Reynolds, one of his personal performance clubs, which he obviously made as well. And then we've got shaker cups. We've got one from Lou Folds, famous American, no, actually not American, originally from, I have to remember where that's from, European, but came to America. But that's one of his shaker cups that he used. He was an ice skating juggler. And then 3 shaker cups from John McPeak. And John, we believe, was the first person to have shaker cups made specifically for juggling rather than modifying existing shaker cups. And so the one there in the middle would be one of those original ones, one of the first shaker cups made specifically for juggling. Here we have some props from the two Lenas. This is a father-daughter duo in the mid-1940s. We've got a very odd spinning plate here. And a wonderful skeleton club here. It is cloth covered, painted over a skeleton setup. You'll see more of that downstairs. And we also had one of their rings right down there in the corner. And then we've got some props from George Barbachok, also known as George Barvin, I believe one of the IJA founders. We've got some plates in here, metal plates, some rings, a devil stick there on the side, a pool cue on this side, and then we've got these three big balls, and they were used for the cannonball gag. We've got two balls here that are wooden, and we've got one here that's inflated, and they're all painted so they look like they're cannonballs, and he would juggle them, toss the inflated one up. When it bounced off his head, the moment it hit his head, he would conk the other two together to make the sound of it crushing his head, and it's an old, very famous gag. And then down here we've got some props from Johnny Johnides and his son Rene Johnides, and this was a cuff that he wore on his arm, and he would spin a ball on the arm when he was doing a version of the Brun finish. But instead of spinning a ring on the arm that was spinning a ball, he would spin an additional ball on the arm cuff. So he would have to be spinning two balls on the same arm, one on the finger and one on the arm cuff. And then we have from his son Rene, we've got a mouse stick and 3 cage clubs. And now we've got some props, first of all, from the Juggling Jacksons. We've got a Harry Lynn club, we've got a Homer stack plate, and we've got 2 knives and a knife-shaped mouth stick, probably made by Harry Lynn, but we're not sure about that. And we've got 2 spools. We're missing the third one. They would be used like cigar boxes. And then we've got some props from Eddie Carrillo Sr. and Eddie Carrillo Jr. The red and yellow clubs and the pedestal there were from Eddie Carrillo Sr. and they're Swiss, and then his son, who performs now, Eddie Carrillo Jr., wonderful juggler. We've got one of his silicone balls and one of his childhood clubs. And now we've got Ken Benge props. We've got a Ken Benge giant fiberglass club made by Stu Reynolds. And there in the middle is a Harry Lynn club used by Ken Benge. And the third one is a fiberglass club made by Ken Benge. He was actually a maker, perhaps the earliest retail maker of fiberglass clubs. We'll discuss that we're downstairs. And we've got some rings, and we've got his dagger and sword. He did the dagger and sword balance, tip to tip, which I now use these actual props in the Juggling History Show to perform that trick. Here we've got some props from Albert Lucas and his brother David Lucas, also known as David Lee. We've got for Albert, we have one of his rings, yellow ring there, that he used to flash 12 rings with. It's autographed. We've got a wooden club that he had designed and made for attempts to flash 8, 9, and 10 clubs. And that's autographed as well by Albert. Then we've got a wooden ring and 2 tiny clubs from David Lucas. from when he was a very young child. The white one is a fiberglass one made by Stu Reynolds. The other one is a more modern club. We believe it was perhaps made by Jay Green, but we're not sure about that. And here we have props from Paul Bachman. Many of these props, maybe a third of the props in the collection here, came from Paul Bachman's collection. Paul was also a talented juggler. So we have 2 mouse sticks, a wooden hoop, another mouse stick, a silicone ball, shaker cups, and then these 2 clubs, which are court clubs made by Paul that he used in performance as well. Here we have 6 props that I just got that were sent to me by Charles Cesar Stavanovich from his family. We've got a torch from Valderi Brahante. We've got a club, actually 2 clubs, I think. Yep. This second one is a little small one from the Fresco Troupe, and a club from this third one had electrical bulbs in it that were battery powered. It was an early electric club from Fabio Stavanovich, which is Charles Cesar's father. The Stavanovich brothers, that short club there, and the Fresco Troupe, this bigger club, and then this Prism club here is one of Charles Cesar Stevanovich's. They're Brazilian. Chow is really, really talented juggler right now. So, and then we've got the pink club there is Redefining Gravity. Darren and Heather Marriott. We've got the red club is Jonah Botvinnik Greenhouse, and then Jet Kelly, and then this claw club is from the Dewdrop Jugglers from when they won the IJA Teams Championship. The white club there is from Crash and Burn, which is Jay Gilligan and myself when we won the Teams Championship in 1994, I believe. And then we've got 2 clubs from Huel Spit, wonderful clown in Las Vegas. Makes his own clubs. They're really, really cool. Then Alan Howard club, a Wally Eastwood club, that short one there. Vova Galchenko club, Waldo club, Larry Merlo club, which he made himself. This one right here, made out of a plastic toy bowling pin club. Well, it is a plastic toy bowling pin club, but really, really nice. Chris LaRue, one of the most talented amateur American jugglers, especially of the 90s and 2000s. Tom Dewart, it's a Stu Reynolds club. We've got one of this little yellow club is one of Dan Menendez's first clubs he made out of toy bowling pin, and that's really cool to have his first clubs. We've got Billy Ray, that blue striped air flight club there. Dana Tyson's next to that. Next to that's Charlie Fry club, and then a Toby Walker club. And then the red and yellow club was used by Laser Vaudeville. And then a Junglissimo club, the blue and yellow club there, used for many of their world records. We've got a Cindy Marvel club. We've got a Gabrielle Boudon club that he uses in Cirque du Soleil. A Nicholas Soren club, that's actually a extremely rare Dubé numbers club. We've got Obadiah Thomas club, a Bob Whitcomb homemade club, a Jessica Hintoff club, a Jonathan Brady club, Georges Villichet Club, Bill Dietrich Club, a Luke Wilson Club, Delaney Bayless, that yellow club there, Emil Dahl, it's one of the clubs he used for the first ever 9-club flash, Patrick Elnert Club, and 2 West Peden clubs. The second one has a ring attached. A lot of you are familiar with how he used that. We've got a Tony Pezzo net here that he used so famously in one of his videos. And we've got a Fernanda Sumano hoop here. She's a famous Mexican juggler and hula hoop artist. And might as well just go down here. We've got Gildova's horse. If you've never seen this, you need to look up video of Gildova and his horse. You can see a picture of Gil here with the horse. It was his prop stand transformed into a horse, which he then rode off stage at the end of his act. It's really, really cool. All right, well, let's go back to where we left off. Here are some famous juggling team props. We've got a drum head from the Flying Karamazov brothers, a tennis racket from the Wimbledon brothers. We've got a cigar box and a ball from Air Jazz. We've got a hoop, a glass, and a ball from the Raspini brothers. And we've got a Raspini brother knife that was passed around Johnny Carson on this night show. And a Raspini brothers club. An Air Jazz signed club. A Passing Zone signed club. In the blue there's Double Trouble club, signed club. A Flying Karamazov brother club. A Safarligans club, and a Wimbledon Brothers club, which was made by Jay Green, which is the first modern club maker. We'll discuss that later. Here we have a Bob Nickerson hatchet, 3 Eric Bates cigar boxes. He's considered by many to be the top cigar box juggler today. We've got a Martin Lamberti spinning ball. He was an amazing, amazing juggler and hand balancing expert. We've got some Martinizer props: a spinning ball, a ring, which I believe was made by Ben Decker, a club, and a mouse stick. The mouse stick was used when Mark won the IJA Individuals Championships in 1990. We've got a hat used by Andy Head, who won the IJA Championships twice. We've got props here from Jatan, the wonderful gentleman juggler who's still performing today. We've got a top hat, a ball, and a coin and matches from his act. And we've got cigar boxes and a ball from Stephen Regatz. Wonderful birdhouse cigar boxes. We've got 3 clubs here from Kit Summers. The one in the front was one that he made when he was working to learn 7 clubs, which he eventually did. And then we've got some other clubs there. Here we've got props from Sean McKinney. We've got 3 cigar boxes, 6 balls or beanbags, and a green hoop there. We lost Sean far too early. We've got a ball, ring, and club from Michael Karras. And then 2 clubs here, both made by Jay Green. The thinner one here in the middle is Dan Berg. And then Robert Nelson, the Butterfly Man, there on the right. Speaking of Jay Green, here's a bunch of Jay Green props. We've got a take-apart devil stick, a parasol, a couple parasol rings, a juggling ring, 2 clubs, and a ball. And the club on the right actually comes apart and becomes a torch. And I will have to do a video about some of these props at some future date. My plan is to start doing videos on individual people or types of props so that you can get in-depth look at some of these props. Here we have some props from one of my dear friends, Gina Schwartzman Christiani. We've got one of her spinning hats and one of her clubs. And she's just the best. Great friend, great juggler, great performer. And then we've got some props here from Françoise Rocher, another one of the top female jugglers in the world. We've got one of her batons here in the front. We've got one of her childhood clubs that she learned to juggle with there. And then here in the back, we've got a baton used by Ashley Ellis when she won the IJA Juniors Championship. Here we have some clubs from Jay Gilligan, one of the most famous jugglers in the world, my former partner, performing partner. These 3 clubs in the front are the first 3 fathead clubs ever made. And in the back we have the prototype for the Holy Club. And then we've got a glass from Tom Wall, who most people know nowadays, and he would balance and flip that glass on a mouse stick, a knife mouse stick, I believe. Below that, we've got a ball and a club from the Fusco brothers, identical twins, and they are extremely talented young men. Here we have we've got some hats. We have a hat and a cigar box from Christian Christoph, and then we've got a hat from Constant, who is another gentleman juggler type performer. We've got a shelf of props from one of my best friends, Eric O'Berry, who is an incredible juggler and a fellow juggling historian of great renown. So these 6-sided cigar boxes are, I believe, the only ones ever made by Renegade. And then we've got a ball, we've got a ladle that Eric used and very creatively in some of the clubs he used to create some of his interesting work with the under the chin swinging and other things of that sort. And we've got some props from some of the best Japanese jugglers. We've got here in the middle Ryoyabe Diablo. We've got a Yaya cigar box. And we've got a Hayato Watanabe Diablo as well. And we've got 3 balls from Sean Blue, spinning ball, and 2 other balls. Actually, the little blue one's a spinning ball as well, because that's what Sean can do. We've got cigar boxes from Jeff Daymont, extremely talented cigar box juggler. And we've got Diablos from Donald Grant and Tony Freeberg, 2 of the most famous Diablo artists. We've got a variety of props from Doug Sayers, a couple clubs, a ring, and a beanbag. And we've got some props from Niels Dunker, beanbags, shaker cup, club, ring, and a plate, juggling plate. We've got a ring from Jimmy Shrinka, also signed by his wife, Keziah Tenenbaum from Air Jazz. And we've got some props from Jeff Tavagia, club, a ring, and a ping pong paddle, because he is Paddle Man, if you've ever seen that act. Here we've got 3 cigar boxes and a ball from Tai Tojo, 3 cigar boxes from the Gizmo Guys, a Diablo from Barrett Felker, who's in the Gizmo Guys, a basketball from Josh Horton, And we've got some wonderful things here from Dan Holtzman, my dear friend, who is the inventor of the volcano ball tube. These tubes here are part of volcano ball. And then we've got the original prototype for the ring dama, and we've got a finished ring dama, and then the new version, the Zing Dama, which lights up when you catch it on there. And so I'm really happy for Dan's success with the ring dama and Zing Dama. And then here we have lots and lots of balls. We've got Charles Peacock, Mark Angelo Peacock, Langa Benjaminson, Cynthia La Flaca Boutron, Institute of Juggleology, Luke Davies, Bounce Sticks, Jack Dinger, Matan Pressburg. We've got two of them here from Matan. This red one, really interesting. That's one of the beanbags he used when he was able to qualify 6 balls at the age of 6. So that's really impressive and very rare to be able to juggle your age. We've got a ball here sent by Tony Duncan, and this was given to him when he was juggling in near the Amazon in South America. It's was made by the natives there out of the natural rubber of the trees and given to him, and he used when he juggled for them. We've got a David Furman ball here that when David had the world record for 10 balls, this was one of the balls he used for that. A Russian ball. Julius Preu ball, he visited here and spent time here. Christian Vonnick ball. Victor Key ball, signed by him. And Michael Davis, the super famous American comedy juggler, ping pong ball. All right, here we have a Cara box that was used by the Raspini brothers. Really cool. We've got some spinning balls here from Isidro Silveira Fernandez. Incredible ball spinner and just overall juggler. We've got a famous clockwork flower pot. We've got beanbags. The beanbags of Bruce Serafian, who used those beanbags to become the first person to flash 12 balls. We've got 2 homemade Bob Whitcomb mouse sticks. And we've got here 2 Claude Crumley props. Actually, they were made by Claude Crumley. They were at one point owned by Dick Franco, so they're valuable for both those reasons. But this is the only known fiberglass juggling hat. And then we've got a super rare, obviously that's super rare because it's the only one known to exist, but a super rare fiberglass bowling ball. And there's only about 6 of these known to ever have been made. And I've got 4 of them, actually. Here we have some Tui Wilson props. We've got a shaker cup, and we've got a mouse stick. It's hard to explain what this is, but it would shoot Nerf bullets like this one here, using ball spinning to launch the little rockets. We've got a Steve Langley paddleball paddle, world record holder with that. We've got some great props here from Angel Egia, mouse stick with which he would bounce 2 balls off of the mouse stick like other people bounce 2 balls off their head. We've got some spinning balls and a leg ring. I'll have to do maybe a video about him at some point and his props. We've got a Jeff Marsh hat, and we've got some props from Marko Dramzewski. We've got ping pong balls, silicone balls, and boomerang plates. And here we have some props from Penn Jillette, the torch and the pink club are from Penn Jillette. Mouse stick from Mark Fay. stick from Bruce Tiemann, better known as Boppo. That was one of the sticks he used for the first 9-stick flash. We've got some really old lighted balls Ben Decker used. This thing here is one of the clubs that I made and used for learning 6 and 7 clubs. And then we've got a broken Jason Garfield club, which is broken over his knee in anger, which is very Jason Garfield-ish. And then we've got an umbrella used by Kyle Driggs. If you've ever seen his act, you know how he uses that. We've got a really interesting prop here from Dennis Pommier, which can be juggled like a club. It can be rolled on the ground, and it's really cool if you've ever seen video of that. We've got a cane made and used by Drew Brown, who's many consider the top cane juggler in the world. And we've got a parasol from Truly Remarkable Loon. We've got some pictures and stuff here. This coffee table here is actually a wicker basket, which was used by Bobby May. It was Bobby May's prop trunk for quite a while. And that's really cool to have that as the coffee table here in the museum. And then on top of it, you may have seen this before. That's really cool. And so that is the upstairs portion of the Museum of Juggling History. And we will continue downstairs in the next episode.